All right, welcome to episode number 1. I am the Outlaw Apostle. This is the Outlaw Apostle Show. Troy Neff, your host, and we are going to be doing these podcasts on a regular basis. This is just number 1. Our goal, as I've said on my biggest platform, which isn't all that big, but it works for us, is TikTok. While I'm still on there and not banned, which could be in the future, who knows? But yeah, we said the goal is like 20 episodes. That's the first goal that we want to hit. And the reason that goal is so important that is that if you reach that, you're in like the top 5% of podcasters. Because why? Because most people quit, which is just crazy. But that isn't that life. People quit. They get started on something, something becomes a little difficult and they quit. You're going to see, hopefully, dramatic change in the podcast as we go along, the things we add. We're going to be adding, a really good opening in music. But the most important thing, and the reason that we're starting just like this, is to present that message to you that what is really most important is just to fucking start, man. It's just to start that diet, that book you wanted to read that, is going to tell you how to start a business or whatever it may be, that just starting. And then we're just going to take it from there. And with me is Chase. Chase is the producer of the show, and he's the guy that's going to do all of the really tough work, because to me, this is the easy shit. So I appreciate having him here and being a part of this. He's pretty excited too. It's his first time doing this. So Chase, I appreciate you, being a part of this and going on this journey with me, man.
I really appreciate that.
Well, good, man. Good. We definitely.
And I don't mean to be rude or whatever.
No,
but,
please.
It's actually Leo, not Chase. I work at Chase, though.
What? I thought, what's your last name?
Guillen.
Well, that's bad. Why? You know what I had? I like Chase.
Yeah, you can call me whatever you want, to be honest with you.
Like, I was just going last name, but you know what? How I put you in my phone when I met?
Yeah.
Was Leo, and then
At Chase.
I put Chase as like a last name being where you worked and wasn't even thinking about it. Well, shit, that's where he works.
Yeah, no, I
That
realized.
sounds totally stupid.
No, it
But
works.
see,
It works.
but you know what? That's the show. People
that's
like
all
it's
that
going to be
matters.
live. It's going to be real, and we're getting to know each other more. We just hung out
100%.
last week and went to a great dinner at a place called Bourbon and Bones.
Very delicious, by the way. Very,
right,
very delicious.
right. Did you get to tell your dad about it?
Oh, yeah. No, actually.
Not yet?
I was telling him that hopefully sometime this weekend we might go get some food, and I'll definitely start bragging a little bit to him.
That'll be awesome. So, in fact, I was just there last night too. So it's a regular place that we go here in Santan Valley. That's where I'm at. So where am I? Who am I? Why should you listen to me? I'm Troy Neff. I'm from the Midwest, a small little town in Ohio, right near the Great Lake Erie, near Toledo, Ohio. We had 2,200 people in our small little town. I think we graduated 160, 170 kids when I graduated years ago. Raised pigs, raced cars, did all that fun shit as a kid, and some other things and stories that we'll probably share at some point too. And just that dude, just that regular guy. And I've had a pretty incredible journey. And I like sharing that journey because I'm told by other people that, they're inspired by it. Because I haven't always, how do I want to put it? I just don't have the talent that like my best friend, it's the best way for me to describe it. Growing up, my best friend, Scott Smith, anything he touched, especially athletically, anything he touched, he was above average instantly. And I had to work my fucking dick off. Okay. Just always felt like they'd always had to work harder. And I did. I did work hard and made it work. And it was just that heart. And I think I'd rather have that heart because I've seen people with a lot of talent never reach their full potential because they just didn't have that heart. They didn't have that drive. Where for me, to even be in that arena, I had no choice but to fucking like give it everything and extra to fight. That's why you see here on our little table here, you see Pete Rose, one of my favorite all-time baseball players, and that's why I love Pete Rose, is because the head first, the dude did extra. He greatest hitter of all time. Was he the most talented hitter? Maybe not, but he was the best because of the effort, and it's that effort that I personally admire. And then in my life that will, sprinkle in here and there. I've had some ups, some really good ups, and I've had some downs. And I kept going. I've been totally wiped out before and had to start my life completely over. Maybe some of you had to have done that too. And I'm starting my life over again now. Another failed marriage. So the one thing you won't be getting from me on this podcast is marital advice. You may get dude advice, but you are not going to get marital advice, because I've been a complete bust in that category. The best thing I can say that's come out of any marriage is to my ex-wife, Susan, who I was married to the longest, and we had my daughter, Samantha. And Samantha is just a wonderful, wonderful woman today. She was a great kid, and I cherish her a lot. So look, I've done this before. Not podcasting, I've done radio. I was a financial advisor for 24 years. I loved Rush Limbaugh. I also liked Howard Stern. And I didn't copy them, but I did model them in some ways, of just being totally open to being who I am and sharing that. And that wasn't always something other people in my life appreciated, but it worked for me. I have to just be real. And anytime I have not been real and tried to control that in some crazy way, it just hasn't worked. I have to be free to be me, to be who I am. And I think, if some people are going to like that and some people aren't, and I'm okay with that. At 56 years old, I just do not give a shit anymore. I care about those people who care for me. I am a loyal motherfucker. I'm that dude that, like, if you're loyal to me, I'm loyal to you, and loyalty means everything in the world to me. And going down that road, and if somebody, the one thing I hate more than anything else is disrespect. And especially when somebody is too big of a fucking pussy to disrespect you to your face, because it's common practice now on social media for people to be disrespectful for no damn reason at all, and say things that they would never say to your face. So I'm not the baddest man on the planet. I'm not, I don't think I'm this really bad dude and tough dude, and it may come off that way sometimes, but I am that dude that, I've been kind of doing a little bit of an introspective there, that I am that dude that was bullied as a kid. I wasn't big, that I did have people that said or did certain things to me. And back in the 70s, way different than it is now, folks. They tell you, well, you should tell the teacher, which never fucking worked, okay? You would just get picked up more. So you either took it or did whatever they wanted to do, or you fought back. And I fought back. And I fought a lot through school, and I fought a lot through my life, like physical confrontation. So I am not afraid of a confrontation. Even as an adult, I have been in those situations. So I guess now I like to be a bully to the bullies. That's what I do. And sometimes that's taken in the wrong context and things, but that's okay too. That no matter what has happened to me, I've always kept going, because I've thought, what's the alternative? What is the fucking other choice? To crawl up in a little ball in the corner and be a little bitch? That just is not an option in my world. That doesn't mean that I haven't ever been down or, been depressed for a short period of time. It's okay for men to have, show their emotions and experience those emotions. What I don't think it's okay is to stay in certain places. That is not good for us to do. We cannot do that. We have to, find a way to just keep going. And you're going to hear that a lot on this program about just keeping going. And somehow, things work out. God works things out and blesses us. And I've certainly been blessed. So I was telling you, I've going back, I kind of jump around a little bit. But so Rush Limbaugh, Howard Stern, was big fans of both. Howard today is a nut job, sadly. I think COVID did it to him. But he is a mess now, man. But anyways, I started out doing a radio show that was like a half hour just on financial stuff, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, investments, financial planning, what was going on in the market, things like that. It expanded. I think I ended up doing an hour, a couple hours on Saturdays. And then I got an opportunity to take over a morning slot from 7 to 9. And I did that. And I did that for a while. And then it expanded to 6 to 9. And then all of a sudden there at the end for a while, it was 6 to 10, 4 hours every day. And that was before I went to work, before I went to my office that I owned and managed the investment company. And it went from a financial show to a show where, I interviewed one of the Gracies. I don't remember which one it was, but I loved MMA. It would interview the coaches on the UFC who, they had that reality show where they would, stay in the house and they, you had the two teams and stuff like that. I would interview
The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, The Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. I would interview the coaches, and then I would also interview like the fighters when they, lost or as they lost and came off and different things like that. It's just something that interested me. And then, as you can see here a little bit, from what we have set up in my office here is a lot of Pittsburgh Steeler memorabilia. Huge Steeler fan, have been since I was in like 4th grade. And my wife at the time, Susan, managed to get me not tickets, but press pass with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know how she managed to do it, but she convinced them that me coming from 3.5 hours away in Toledo, Ohio was a good idea. And somehow she also convinced them, or they came up, they actually would give me a second press pass because of the drive, just for safety on the way home, having somebody with me, that kind of thing. So I would get 2 press passes to all 8 home games. And then I would also get, I could do other regular season games. We would have to contact those teams. So I would regularly, obviously, go to Cleveland, Cincinnati. So that was 10 games. Could be Detroit if they were in our circle that year on the schedule, because that was like once every 4 years. But pretty much any regular season game I wanted to go to, I pretty much could. But I would go to at least 10. Those being the games that I just told you there. And then starting in the playoffs, she would have to arrange it through the NFL. So originally, to start, it's through the team. And then during playoff time, it's through the NFL. And I got to cover everything but a Super Bowl. I got to cover AFC playoff games, AFC championship games, and probably the highlight for me personally was being able to cover the Pittsburgh Steelers when they beat the Denver Broncos in Denver to then, for the AFC championship, to then go on to play in the Super Bowl in Detroit. So it was just fantastic. It was great getting to talk and meet with the players and things like that. So that was part of the show too. I still did financial stuff during the show and interviews with People like Newt Gingrich, yeah, the great House Speaker Newt Gingrich, local politicians, people who covered Sean Hannity. I think I got to even do Sean. I never got to interview Rush. I did get to, interview a lot of people who, wrote books, who were journalists, who were very, very smart people, just very, very smart people. And sometimes what would happen is, I'd hear Rush actually talk about a particular article in a newspaper, and somebody that was in the article, I would go get the person in the article and interview them. That was one of my tactics, not copying Rush, but using like pointing that out. He used to say he was show prep for all of the other, talk show hosts out there. And in a way, he absolutely was. But that's how I used it, to be able to do that. And just whatever the thing was. And I got to tell you, I missed it. A lot of things happened to me in that journey that ended that. And people have mentioned for years about me doing a podcast. And I've tried maybe twice before, but at least once before with someone else. We got a couple episodes in, and the producer we had he sucked ass. He was just horrible. He was no Chase. He's no Leo. No, right. He was just horrible, man. And so I've thought, like, why am I not doing this? And Troy, it's just time to just do it. And especially since my platform on TikTok has grown so much. Obviously, I'm pretty decent on Facebook. Instagram, I had to shut down not long ago. Only recently, I've begun in the last maybe 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, to post some things on X. And I'm just not consistent enough on there. Where I'm consistent pretty much is on TikTok and on Facebook.
What is your handle on those, by the way?
The Outlaw Apostle. And you have to be aware that there are a number of fake accounts. In fact, because I had like 15,000 followers on Instagram, which I thought was a lot, but I was getting no feedback, no business from it whatsoever compared to TikTok, which, every single day I have interaction with people and get new clients from there as well. That there's actually a fake account of me that somebody created that has more followers now than I do. Like, I only have maybe a few hundred, and he's got like 2,000. So the fake Troy has, but the problem that I have with that is in these fake accounts is these guys are trying to rip people off. They're, what you're going to find out is I talk a lot about testosterone and peptides. I talk a lot about testosterone replacement therapy, which I like to call testosterone optimization therapy and things like that. And they use my videos to lure people in because people like me. They trust me on these topics because of my knowledge and my background. And then they steal their money, or they send them shitty stuff if they send them anything at all. But most of the time they are just ripping them off, which just, we try to report them, but they don't care as much about that, apparently, as they care about me saying something back to a troll who attacked me, and I attack back, and then I get banned. Or I just had a video that I just had to appeal on TikTok that was about BPC 157. It's an amazing healing peptide. It's been up for a couple days. It's been doing pretty well. And they pulled it for drugs, like illegal substances, controlled substances. It's not a controlled substance. And it was simply a video about how to best use it. That's what it was about. And they pulled it. So I have to fight that now. But yet somebody else can have a picture of a testosterone bottle, and their name of their account can be Steroid Pharmacy, and they just have a video of a pile of crappy steroids, not even good steroids, and they don't get banned. No, I get banned. How or have a video taken down or whatever. It's crazy the things you have to do when you're doing this that maybe you don't. If you just watch it, if you're not a creator, if you're not making anything, you don't realize what goes on and why it's so important that we have freedom of speech and that we have these platforms with sharing with each other. And I think I'm not a conspiracy person, but I think there are people that are afraid of us connecting in this way. Are there risks? Absolutely. But there's always been risks. People have always been stealing people's credit cards or what have you. Somebody can, steal your card at a restaurant. Now it's harder to do now because they usually don't, a lot of the restaurants don't take it away anymore. They have a handheld that they bring right to your table, which is a whole lot better, right? Because they could take and copy your credit card or do something else and you wouldn't know if they take it in the back and then bring it back to you. So there's always risks, people. We have to deal with those risks the best we can, but we cannot limit free speech and freedom of expression, even the expression we do not like. That's what it's there for. It's actually technically there for us to protect us from the government censoring us, but we all feel and talk about free speech in a much broader sense. Now, I'm a dictator on my social media that, and I think I need to be right now and will continue to be, that I'm going to have to, I just don't like bad vibes and idiot people. And instead of engaging with them, I need to delete and block more. I just need to do it. Maybe there'll come a time when I can just let it go and just leave it up there and not worry about it. I know a lot of people do that. I just was never built that way. I've tried that over and over again, and I'm just being honest with you. It's not me. It's just not me. I push back.
Very, very soft society we have nowadays.
We do. We have a very soft society, and the thing is, Leo, I push back really, really good. And the thing is, a lot of these accounts that come after you, they have no profile picture. They have no followers but their mother. They have no content. Or if it's on Facebook, which I've been attacked lately for some posts because I actually put tags. So usually you don't get this kind of attack on Facebook. Usually it's more like X that you would get the kind of attack that I've had for saying shit that I did about Biden. It's so funny. But these people have their accounts protected. And in one way, look, I think you're a pussy if your account is protected like that, where people can't see your stuff, where mine is totally public. My account is totally public. You do not have to be my friend. To see my account or to see what I have is totally open because that's who I am. And but if they do have shit up there, I will use that fucking shit against you. You probably don't remember because you're too young, but there was a television show years and years ago called The Beverly Hillbillies.
Beverly Hillbillies. I don't believe so.
No, The Beverly Hillbillies. It was this hillbilly family. They struck gold, black gold, oil, and they moved to Beverly Hills.
Okay.
That's part of the song. Moved to Beverly Hills. And one of the characters on the show was Jethro. Jethro was the big dummy, right? Jethro, but he was a good-looking dummy, but a big dummy, but kind of a good-looking dummy. But he was,
Yeah.
But like this, so one time this dude called me Jethro, and I looked at his picture, and I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me."
Does he kind of look exactly like you?
Exactly. So I took a picture of his and a picture of Jethro and worked it out on some other app to put them side by side and posted it. He couldn't get out of there and delete his shit fast enough. Or I'll get something on somebody, I'll just keep reposting that same thing because I know that look, if you want to be mean, I just don't randomly disrespect people for no reason.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes at me, like I am very, like my generation, we fucking practice that shit on each other. We would hammer each other in what we called each other and
You gotta have
things
like a
that.
self-defense type of thing.
Yeah.
Like you gotta learn how to fight. You gotta learn how to be
You
able to.
got to
talk each
learn how
other.
to, yes. And there was another one of the best all-time television, most successful TV shows of all time was called MASH.
Mash.
Okay. Okay. It was about a unit that was in Korea, and they were doctors and nurses in Korea during the U.S. Korean War.
Okay.
Okay. Which was before Vietnam. So, anyways, in that particular show, the main characters of that show they were smart asses.
Yeah.
And they were very good. That's what we grew up with. That's what we learned. That's what we did. We learned from that. In fact, I can't believe we're getting into the stuff.
It's funny, actually. I do believe I have seen this growing up in
Yeah,
Mexico, weirdly enough.
you could have, absolutely. But my personal favorite show, I don't know what yours was, Leo, but my favorite show, the show that I learned everything about life, was called Happy Days. Everything I know about life, about women.
The sitcom?
Yes.
Okay.
With the Fonz.
I'll
It's
probably
everything you have to. It's
have to
everything
watch it a little bit.
I've learned from Happy Days and the Fonz, you know?
Okay.
Yes. So everyone has whatever their show is that they learned their stuff from. That just has to be, that one just happens to be mine. Yeah. I never got the, click where I could make them come to me with the clicking my fingers like the Fonz did. But I made that joke recently in a post when I was referring to the divorce that I'm going through right now, that one of my old high school friends said, she said, there's plenty of fish in the sea or something like that. And I was like, the thing is, I know how to get them into the boat. I just don't know how to keep them in the boat. Something like that. It was pretty funny anyways. So yeah, so it's been crazy. I should have done this before. I honestly, I feel like I could have been Joe Rogan, but there's a reason I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm just Troy Neff, and I'm just going to be who I am, and I'm comfortable being who I am. But this is my time to do this, and we're starting out at scratch doing this, and it's going to take more than a year. It's probably going to take more than 2 years, 3, whatever it is. That's just how it works.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun journey.
And I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to do what it takes to do this. And I am well aware of what it takes to do this. What I hadn't done up until now was get started. And I swear that's the hardest thing. That is the hardest thing. And it's today. There's no better time than today. Just do it. I'll probably talk about it in an upcoming episode. My experience last year doing Andy Frisella's 75 Hard. And 75 Hard is hard. It's a program of discipline is the best way for me to describe it. It's not just about fitness. Fitness is part of it. Diet is a part of it. Self-improvement is a part of it, but it's a tough program. A lot of people don't make it through that, and especially doing what you have to do for 75 straight days and the physical aspect of it, like I did, and being older in doing that. It was not easy, but I did it. And, I'll share about that and those things, but I expect things to be hard. I do not expect easy. So I know what work it takes. The people that I admire who inspire me, I've seen what it's taken for them to get there and heard them talk about this. So I'm just willing. I'm willing to do that. Willing to make that sacrifice. And the reason that so many people today don't have what they want is because they're just not willing to make that sacrifice, to do what they have to do to get there. It can be hours. It can be, blocking certain things out of your life. Maybe blocking social media. Maybe it's less TV. Maybe it's some people. It definitely can be people. That's for sure. There's everybody in your circle is not fucking rooting for you. And the faster you can get away from those people, the better. You don't even have to tell them. You don't even have to inform them. I'm getting rid of you. No, just don't answer the calls as quickly. Don't respond as quickly. And say no. When they say, hey, you wanna meet and do this? No, I don't want to. And you know what you don't owe them? An explanation why. You don't have to give them a reason. No, I can't do that because I'm going to do this. You don't owe them a fucking explanation. No is just no. No, I don't want to do that. You can be polite if you want to be polite and say, thanks for asking though, if you want. And then when you say a no enough times, they'll stop asking you. And they'll just slowly fade into the background. And when that happens, and you are focused on what your goals are and your purpose in life, God will bring you those people that can help you. I absolutely believe that Leo is my producer, and sitting in that chair is God because of me putting it out there, what I wanted, who I needed to be able to help me get this done. And this is, so I'm laying a pretty heavy thing on his shoulders here. God brought him here to be a part of this. And I believe that with all of my heart. Now, you will hear me talk about God because that's who I am.
You know what's really funny about that? I was watching a YouTube video yesterday. Well,
Yeah.
a movie, I should say. Let me pull it up real quick. And it's
Sure.
It's literally all about you might have seen this movie, but it's basically just about a football team that isn't really good. They're really struggling on doing what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the head coach is getting a lot of hate. He's going through something where he's not able to have a kid. They've been trying for 4 years or whatever it is. Facing the Giants is what it's called. It's 2004
I haven't seen
film.
that.
It's a very, very beautiful movie in my opinion. And basically just what you were talking about, he even though he was going through all those struggles and everything, he still sat down and he prayed. And he said, I think one of the biggest quotes was, no matter what the outcome is, it's all the glory to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just funny that you say that God brought me here, because that was the whole point of the movie, and I fell asleep to that movie, so I think that's kind of funny that you say that.
That is. But as I'm mentioning, you hear me say motherfucker and fuck and all kinds of stuff. So some people don't like to hear that and question me being a Christian because of the amount that I swear. And I'll just be honest with you right now and tell you, I don't give a fuck. God uses me in a way that he can't use some goody two-shoes Christian, who the people that God uses me to reach out to wouldn't give those people the time of day. People that have been in jail, people that have struggled, have lost everything, addiction. You'll hear me talk about addiction because I am a recovering alcoholic who has been sober over 15 years. So you're gonna hear about that. And so I relate a lot with those guys, even though I wasn't in the military. Military vets and stuff are drawn to me, and I am drawn to them. And I've helped. That's a big part of the work that I do with testosterone replacement therapy, is working with vets on getting their testosterone levels up. So just really, really cool stuff that I get to do and be a part of. And that kind of leads into that, it's going to be a big part of the show, what I do. And we will bring on I'm somebody who's very common sense, and common sense is in such short supply. It is, but I have it. I can assure you. That's how I've had the success I've had in my life, is because of such an extreme high level of common sense. Doesn't mean I've never done bonehead shit. We all do. But that's where it really comes from. But I understand how things work. I just may not know all of the crazy medical technical terms where it's a fucking 15-letter word that nobody can pronounce. You know what I mean?
It has like 6 different syllables in it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm smart. I know, I have very good vocabulary. Even though I like to use fuck, I do have a very, very good vocabulary.
It's so useful. It's so versatile. You can use fucking
It's
so
the
many
most
different ways.
versatile word on the
Oh,
planet.
yeah. I remember in college, I had one of my English professors gave us an entire presentation about why fuck is the best word in the English
It is.
dictionary. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not for everybody. My goal is not to be for everybody. Those people that like what I do are going to be attracted to the show, and those people that don't aren't. And that's my life. That's been my whole fucking life. There's not a lot of middle ground with me. You're not going to find a lot of people around that'll be, yeah, Troy's okay, I guess. There's not that middle ground like that. People like me or they don't like me at all. They really, really like me or they don't like me at all. Because I'm just straight. I will tell you the shit that your best friend should tell you and he doesn't. Because I'll call you out because you gave me the right to call you out, maybe. Or I just did because I fucking give a shit about you. I give a shit that you be the best that you can be, or that you make it, or just whatever. If I see somebody being weak, I will call that weakness out. I'm here, man. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to have, we're told, like, anger is an emotion that apparently men are not allowed to have anymore. And that is such bullshit. We could spend a whole episode talking about that, I'm sure. And men are going to relate to it. It's what do we do with the anger and how we control it. And I've had issues, and I'm not afraid to say I've had issues with anger and controlling it. But it's funny when some people try to call me out on it. Dude, I ain't mad. I'm not mad at all. Just because sometimes they'll think I'm mad. And again, it's text or it's, on social media. And
take it out of context.
They take it out of context just because I'm using the word fuck. I use the word fuck and not be mad. I can do that.
People need to learn how to use the word more. Like I said, it's a very versatile word.
Well, it is. And so that's a little bit about who I am. And again, I mentioned the TRT and the men's health. I'm actually surprised about how many women are lately coming to my TikTok and also asking for help, with different types of protocols and certain health issues that I deal with, and that is really growing, and I'm actually shocked. But I had a discussion with someone about this last night, that I think it's an area that's lacking, that women are only coming to me because they have no choice, because there isn't enough other women. We need some kind of female version of me, is basically what I'm saying. Somebody that with a purpose, that cares about women's health and to share their experience in that way. That's the way we need a woman like me. Otherwise, I don't know about a woman like me. I wouldn't want to be around that bitch. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, that if a woman could deal with another female that's knowledgeable, she's gonna lean that way. Why? Because just we're humans. We have biases, and a lot of our biases is going to be towards people that are like us. It just is. It's always going to be that way. And it doesn't mean that, we don't include other people of different colors, different beliefs, um, different thoughts or ways of thinking. I almost threw in gender, but there's only two.
Some people get mad at that.
Right. That alone will make somebody mad, and I'm okay with that. And that's the whole point. But people are attracted to people like them. It doesn't mean that you can't be, friends with a Democrat. It's not easy sometimes, but I'm not friends with as many liberals as I am conservatives. That's just factual. It just is. And I'll help. I've helped many liberals with their testosterone replacement therapy. I'm okay doing that. They just have to be okay when I send a message to them, and at the bottom I put FJB on there. They just have to be willing to take that with a grain of salt, and it's okay. But, these people that are like super combative and are just hateful people, that's our world today. Our world is taking sides. And you're on one team or the other. There's two teams. That's all we see is two teams. Now, at the top, those teams tend to blend together a little bit. And those are the elites, and we can talk about that sometime as well. But
that'd be a good episode.
Yeah, it's just going to be fun. I just wanted to run through some different things. I didn't even know what I was going to really say today, but I just wanted to give you the broadest idea of what's going to take place in the future.
Kind of like a movie trailer in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. And how many people are even watching this at this point? People watch things at the beginning and come back to it. And now I like podcasts. I like watching podcasts. I like listening to podcasts. I like to learn, from people like in peptides. I'm looking at going to Las Vegas the 14th and 15th for a World Peptide Conference with Dr. William Seeds, who is to me, he's the godfather of peptides. So for me to have the chance to go to Vegas for a couple days at a conference that he's promoting, running, starring in, to get whatever I can and meet people there. And who knows, I might find somebody there. God will bring somebody into my life, right, that I can have as a guest on the show to talk about peptides. So the show isn't just going to be me sitting here each episode. We are going to have guests. We're going to work into that as we learn how to do this.
Yeah, we're still figuring out everything. Little steps.
Well,
step by step.
You are. I can talk.
Yeah,
this is obvious. I can talk. But the rest of it is going to be on Leo here to do. And I'm excited about this. I appreciate anybody who's still here at the end or somebody that just gave us a few minutes at the beginning. Just give us a chance. If you're not sure about us, check in 5-10 episodes. Come back, check out
it'll definitely get better.
We will get better. And I know that because I got better doing radio. My worst show was my first show. I don't believe I did it today, but I will listen and watch. But I remember listening to myself because I recorded every show and I listened to myself every show. I would listen to the whole thing back. And oh my God, listening to it, it was so horrible. Knowing that if I was in my car listening to me, I'd have turned that shit off. I would have changed the channel because it was horrible. So I learned to pause. I learned to catch myself saying and then continue on. You'll learn, but it's going to take time, for me to get back into the swing of things. And I'm okay making mistakes. I'm okay calling Leo Chase when his last name's not Chase.
You can call me whatever you want.
Yeah, that's a good
We'll
nickname,
yeah,
though.
we'll get
Maybe
the- we'll
if
get the
people
job
call him
done.
Chase, that's a good nickname. Like he's we'll put a picture up at some point. So, because you are single, right?
I am, yeah, at the moment. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's single at the moment. He's a good-looking young dude. That's like some women might be interested out there in the Arizona area. So we got to put that out
We'll
there.
put some information out. We'll make sure of that.
So, all right. That's we're gonna wrap it up right about there. And I just want to say I'm the Outlaw Apostle. I'm the fucking guy. I appreciate you, love you. Come back for the next episode. All right. God bless.